Hey Maria, back with another video. It's 6:29 a.m. It is, I believe, the 22nd of November, I think. Whatever. Anyway, I'm heading to work right now, and the sun just came up, and it's a nice day. It's chilly this morning. I'm expecting it to be chilly in the mornings on the weekend, which is nice. I like that, okay, because, you know, it's nice for me to stay in my pajamas a little bit longer on the weekends and just kind of feel, you know, the autumn, I guess. I don't know, the autumn energy or whatever, but it's really, I love the way that it feels, and it does help me a lot. It kind of gives me this soothing feeling. So anyway, I'm on my way to work, and I didn't really sleep very well last night. You know, I was doing a lot of thinking, a lot of issues relating to my ex-family and my anger issues relating to them. Only because, you know, it's like, you know, I have addressed my previous employers several times, and I don't think they understood, you know, at first, because they were confused. It's confusing. It's like, well, this is your family. They don't understand that families oftentimes have, you know, ulterior motives. They are competitive. Yes, and families don't always have your best interest at heart. There's a lot of competition in families, you know, and even though I wasn't aware of it, that's, you know, the case. So when you get these people who seem eager to help out their family member, you know, find a job, it's usually because there is some sort of competition going on in place. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I made an important issue to address my previous employers in this issue, because these people are taking advantage and causing, you know, division with their propaganda, and very much unwanted, I might say. So that's one of the reasons why, you know, domestic stalking is a huge issue, and there's a lot of, you know, employers that fall for it all the time. Let me tell you something. Anytime, do you think most people are going to give you what's in your best interest? Do you really think so? I mean, they're not. Even somebody that claims to love you will not give you what's in your best interest. A lot of husbands won't give their wives what's in her best interest, especially men who feel intimidated by a woman making more money than him. You know, something along those lines, okay? So, you know, really, when it comes to references or something, you know, I prefer, if I had a reference, you know, I would want to deal with somebody who was content with their life, meaning somebody who didn't need to compete. Like, you know, some person who was already established, and they're just doing something to be generous out of the kindness of their heart. Okay, I don't like to work with people who are in a constant state of need and lack. They lack things, they need things, they're envious of other people, and then you think that they're going to actually do well for you. If they're put in that position, they're not. Okay, obviously, you know, I was mentioning that my ex-sister Tanya, you know, feels a little bit in competition with me because she has a bachelor's degree, so therefore she feels as though she's entitled and she's supposed to, that equates to her being more successful, that equates to her doing that stuff. So being in that position of, which I would have never authorized, okay, and I'm going to let Karen Johnson know this, and all the other ones as well, Steve Murray, all these other people, I would never authorize Tanya or Jim Culligan to touch any of my things, okay? We're not that close, okay? We're not close at all. But this is the sort of stuff that they'll do. So, and then, you know, when you have outside people, if there's a reference, the reference should be dealing directly with the employer. They should not be, you know, conducting these illegal investigations because they want to make sure that this person's deserving of the job, or they're using certain issues that are not relating to employment, like things that you can do, you have a right to do outside of your job. And they're saying, okay, well, you know, since she likes clothes, or since she likes these sort of things that have nothing to do with your job. Now, I like clothes, like what I'm wearing today, I probably wouldn't wear in a nicer office. I wouldn't wear it in a nicer office. I know how to dress appropriately for whatever occasion I'm in, but I don't prefer to be in environments where things are sloppy. I don't. You know what I mean? I think if you're going to a office, and it makes a difference. I mean, anybody who, you can't argue that. And if you are going to argue that, then obviously we live in a slothful, society where people are just sloppy and ridiculous. But I'm saying is that when you have people who are outside, who don't think about operating within the guidelines of employment and thinking that they have the right to make decisions for you, they're going to base it on things that are irrelevant. All right? And because of that, it's not a good idea. Any reference between an employer and a employee, the person who works as the liaison, that sounds so exotic, doesn't it? Right? Funny anyway. But the person who works between the employee and the employer, who's introducing this person into the company, really should be basing it 100% on that person's skills. That's it. Okay? It's not about political issues. And I know it's tempting to do that. It's tempting because you want to make it look like, this particular religious group has all these blessings or whatever. There's nothing wrong with, like for example, if you go to church, right, and you have a church member, and a church member's looking for work, and that church member says, hey, do you know any job openings? And you just so happen to know of a job opening, and you help that person. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But when you are helping people just because they are of a particular religion, only, helping certain people and excluding others, then that's a problem. That's a huge problem. So I would never, obviously I have identified my family as stalkers because they have never been authorized by me to arrange jobs. Okay, so what they'll do is find out where you work, if they don't know where you work already. But they'll find out where you work, and they'll talk to your employers, and they'll come up with some bullshit like, oh, well, my mom says, or something, that Maria should be doing this, and somebody is that dumb to believe that. I'm sorry, I hate to say that, Karen, but, I don't think you're a dumb woman, but you can be easily deceived. Just like a lot of people get deceived when they see somebody in a business suit, and they have they seem respectable. You think that this person's legit, right? But not necessarily, and because Tanya comes off as like this educated woman, and she's got this husband. Now, I don't see anything impressive about Jim. I'd look at him and be like, okay, he's got to be a flim-flam man or something, because he doesn't look like he's one of those influential people that I would immediately start, I would fall all over for. But whatever the case is, you got conned, okay? Because I would never, ever consent to anything like that. And I don't care what my mother says. That's ridiculous, okay? My work is a one-woman show, all right? But anyway, when it comes to references, if I had one, I would be looking for somebody who is not in a constant state of need or lack, somebody who doesn't feel in competition with me, somebody who perhaps is already established, who feels generous, like, oh, well, I can help her out, that kind of thing. I wouldn't want to deal with somebody who secretly wishes that they had what I had, okay? That's a dangerous thing right there, all right? So you have to choose people wisely, okay? And those would not be it. So, that's just how it is, okay? My sister Tanya struggles, right? Like so many other people, she struggles. But somebody who's struggling, like I said, would not be my choice of a job reference. All right? They wouldn't be. Just for the fact that they're not going to do anything for me that's going to really help me, because it's going to create envy in them. They're going to be jealous of that. And then you put my life in their hands. I would never, ever allow something like that. Ever. Okay? I don't feel any closeness to my family. Okay? And especially now. Like right now, I feel, that's one of the reasons why I had a hard time sleeping last night, because I'm so disturbed by them. I'm so disturbed by them. One of the biggest issues, which I'm working on my presentation, my human trafficking, but it is one of the highlighted things, okay? When you are a targeted individual slash victim of human trafficking, one of the things that your handlers do is they isolate you. They isolate you, and they want control over. Some people go really far with it. Some people will take away the identification of the person who's the victim, and they will. Some people don't have their identification with them. In my case, I know that my house is monitored to a certain degree. I don't know if my house is under surveillance, but I know that at one time my house was monitored. Okay, like, you know, the neighbors are in on it and all this other stuff. This is one of their illegal things. Anytime somebody's asking you to do that, you're dealing with human trafficking. Why is this person being watched like this? Why are they being monitored, right? Also, you don't have control over your own financial resources. So in this case, some people, you know, they'll take away their identification, they'll take away their bank card, right? In this case, my family's greedy motherfuckers, they're taking away my job, okay? That's the whole, you know, that's the whole thing right there, okay? But that's one of the signs of being a targeted individual. Somebody who, a perpetrator slash handler, taking over those things and giving people very little say over it. So this operation is obviously a setup that is meant to be that would fall under the category of human trafficking. Okay, when you have, and then also gang stalking as well, because when you have, you know, you go into a store, people know who you are, you know, and they're looking at certain things that you're doing and they're reporting it back to somebody. All this operation is that, and if that's the purpose of it, to get a job, they're basing it on things that have nothing to do with the job. Nothing to do with the job. If I come to work, go to Albertsons, okay, the store across the street from where I live. If I go to Albertsons in a pair of, I don't know, harem pants, okay, like harem pants are some pants that I kind of relax in every once in a while. I go across the street in harem pants, or those little pajama pants that you wear in your house, just to run across the street to get a pat of butter or whatever, a pack of butter. Which most people do that. Like if they're really busy, like, and I know I'm guilty of it, because Albertsons is right across the street from where I live. If I'm short on an ingredient, real quick, I'm going to run across the street and go grab it. And I don't care, you know, if I'm wearing, what do you call it, like little pajama type pants or harem pants or whatever, because I'm just running across the street coming right back home, okay? But by going across the street to Albertsons wearing my pajama pants, this is just an example. And then the perps over there at that particular store are contacting my family saying, well, she was wearing pajama pants when she came in. Then are they gonna sit there and think, well, oh, okay, she's wearing pajama pants. She doesn't know how to dress at work. It has nothing to do with that. I can do what I want outside of work. Okay? So what you're doing is these people want you to cater to their particular whims and beliefs and their ideas and whatever. And that's not it, okay? That's not what you base your work on. You base it on, you know, what you're able to do for the employer. That's it, nothing else, okay? And so when you put this into the hands of other people, you are allowing other people to be abused, okay? So this was a bad idea. And then also, if these are work-related issues, okay, you don't bring a whole community into that decision. You don't do that, because there's supposed to be a level of privacy in that, okay? My privacy and what I go with, my information between me and the employer is supposed to be private. All right. Even the reference doesn't know that much. All they might know about your experience and stuff like that. Obviously, they know that you do a certain kind of work, so they're introducing you to that company because they like your skills or whatever. So that's it. That's it. Okay. People can abuse their control, and really these people had no right to have control in the first place. You know, they had no right to have control in the first place. So you're dealing with a woman, a mentally disturbed woman, two mentally disturbed women, my ex-sisters, and thinking that they have control. And I'm very, very disturbed by it. Like, the more I think about it, the more sick I get, because it's like, you would actually the way that my sister Lisa, ex-sister Lisa, was acting when I was in Lancaster, I'm so sick. I'm literally sick. So last night, I had a hard time sleeping about it. I mean, I had a hard time sleeping because I was so disturbed by her and her little bullshit scheme. That is something you do not mess with, okay? You don't sit here and mess with, you know, rumor mills and slander campaigns and this sort of stuff, and these ridiculous requests, and, you know, wanting to know what I do when I go across the street, you know, to get something at the store or whatever. It's none of your business, you know? And so I had to say something, you know, I had to say something. And I've made over 900 videos on this issue, and it took these people this long to understand that what they did was wrong. Okay, so in the beginning, when you are a targeted individual slash, you know, victim of gang stalking, whatever you want to call it, human trafficking, because there's a lot. They're the same. They're similar. Okay, you have to be you have to utilize tactics of gang stalking in order to be a handler in terms of human trafficking. The reason why is because you need to gain the respect of other people. So in this case, like my ex-brother-in-law, you know, he's, you know, acting as if he's a respectable person, but he really has ulterior motives. He's got like his religious agenda and all this other stuff. So he convinces people that he's a, you know, a sweet, caring person, that he's concerned about me, blah, 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 blah. He may even convince my mom that he's concerned about me, because my mother knows nothing about the outside world. Nothing. Okay, she's a woman of the 1950s, got married in the 1950s. Okay, she's one of those old-fashioned housewives that have absolutely no idea how the world works. Okay, so, you know, he could convince people of that, but his motive is to put women in what do you call it, subservient positions, you know. And then also, he has no right to know anything about me. I'm so violated. Like, it's not even funny. You know what I mean? I just feel violated. I've never wanted my work and my personal life to merge. Never. Never, 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 never. So I know either Karen or Craig DeHelka or one of those, my previous employers, you know, kind of nodded and said that, okay, it's okay, you can go ahead and help her with her. No. No. No, no, and no. I would never do that. So erase it, okay? Just like, you know, if I ever, I want my name erased from these people. I want my name cleared in all 50 states and all over the goddamn world. As fast as this thing has spread, I want it cleaned up, because this is a deadly thing. It's deadly, all right? It is deadly. And it's an abuse, it's extreme abuse. It's like, you know, they already have me working out here, you know, in isolation. I go home and I'm isolated. Apparently, you know, if I can't make phone calls to correct my financial situation because there's a handler and controller involved. Now, for the people here in this community who's unaware of human trafficking and gang stalking, they've already known from my videos. It's hard to accept that, you know, because you probably know Jim Culligan, you probably know Tanya Culligan, you probably know Lisa Hughes, you probably know Jeff Hughes, you know these people, right? But you've got to understand that these people didn't have my best interest at heart, okay? Especially with all the explosive issues that happen at all the workplaces, okay? And it wouldn't have happened. It would not have happened if it wasn't for these people, okay? So that's what I'm saying, no more. You know, I'm taking my life back. And like I said, I don't know exactly how, but I will. You know, I will figure it out. I am beyond disturbed by, and I'm going to say this to my previous employers. You know, when I left, with the exception of Steve Murray, I don't like this man. I don't like him. I don't trust him. Okay, but still, you know, he does have a responsibility to do right by me. You know, I left your places of employment, and I thought that we were on good terms. And, you know, I'm not going to say anything negative about you, other than, you know, I know Karen and I we butted heads a few times. But I think the reason why we did is because she was getting her head filled with my abusive family. You know, but regardless of all that, I don't deserve what's happening to me. Okay, and obviously, you know, you condoned what these people were doing. So stop it. help stop it, because no one should have to live like this, okay? I'm not, I want to make a decent living, meaning I want to be happy, and I know that I'm never going to be happy in the workplace again, okay? Because what you guys caused, this ridiculous circus show, has affected my life, you know what I mean? So peace and quiet and all this other stuff that I'm entitled to has just been thrown out the window, and so, but I feel as though it's your responsibility. A part of it is. My family should be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves, and, it's one thing when people make a mistake, but this was something that was well thought out. It was well thought out, and it was meant to hurt me. It was meant to hurt me. And because of that, I don't take those decisions lightly. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I don't have a problem. And I know it's hard for my family to accept the fact that Maria would actually take a stand like that. Maria would actually want to leave the family. And yes, I do. I do. Okay? And I'm not feeling like, oh, don't change your mind about this. No, I don't. I'm terrified of somebody who would behave like this. I would not want to spend any time with somebody who would do something like this. At all. Okay? It's completely, it's unforgivable. I can't excuse it. And my previous employers allowed these people to abuse me. Okay? Jim Culligan, Tanya Culligan are people who struggle financially. All right? They struggle. Just like everybody else. I mean, nobody's having it great these days. Okay? That's why we got all these dollar stores and everybody's acting like it's normal to be, nothing wrong going to dollar stores because I do it myself. Okay? But we know that people are struggling to make ends meet nowadays. Okay? So you got these people who, feel in competition with another family member. And you just let somebody have this right. You thought that was okay. What you did was wrong. You made a mistake, okay? And I'm not yelling at you. I'm just saying there's a lot of things that go on in the business world, or like, in relation to employee and employer, that people don't think about. They think, oh, okay, that's that person's mom, or that's that person's whatever. It doesn't matter, okay? When you're over the age of 18, your own mother on a piece of paper legally is basically a total stranger to you. They don't have rights to do stuff like that. They don't have the right to do that. And I know, like, my sister would come over to my house, right? And my sister's very materialistic, and I've moved a bunch of times because of their issues. She likes to compare, like, oh, she's got this, like, big screen TV and, all this other stuff. And she owns her own home or whatever. And so she thinks, well, she needs to be doing the stuff that I'm doing. And because she doesn't, I'm going to take over her finances because whatever. I don't care what kind of excuse these people made, okay? And here's the reality of that. If my sister Lisa doesn't like how I spend my money, that's still her own problem. The fact of the matter is, legally, if I wanted to, which I wouldn't do this, okay? But if I wanted to work all weekend long, and then go to Las Vegas and blow all my wages, which I would think was stupid. But if I wanted to do that, if that is a part of my American dream, then I have the right to do that. It doesn't matter what you think or if you agree with how I, spend my money or whatever. It doesn't matter what you think. I have the right to do that. Everybody has the right to, their pursuit of happiness, okay? Like I said, I hate Las Vegas. I don't like being there. I hate casinos. I do. I hate casinos. I hate sitting by slot machines. I can't stand that. So I just use that as an example. But still, if that was my choice, if that was what brought me pleasure in life, to spend all my wages in Las Vegas at the end of the week, because that's what I'm living for. If that's what I'm living for, then that's my right. Okay, you might do something different. You might go and get yourself invest in property or whatever. That's what you might do. But some people, would do something like that. I would never. But still, it's just an example.